Good morning, students. Today let us start axis of symmetry. Okay. Now what is axis of symmetry? It is an imaginary axis about which the crystal may be rotated such that it presents exactly the same appearance more than once during one complete rotation. That means you can draw any imaginary axis in a crystal and you should rotate the crystal with that imaginary axis such that you should get the same appearance more than once, okay, more than once in one complete rotation. Then that axis, imaginary axis, is called axis of symmetry. All right. Next slide. Now here you have got three different axes of symmetry. This is first figure shows two-fold symmetry. You can see the imaginary axis here. When you rotate this crystal with this imaginary axis, you will get two times in one complete rotation, two times same appearance in one complete rotation. Similarly, second figure indicates three-fold symmetry. That means when you rotate through this axis, this is the axis of rotation. Okay. When you rotate the crystal with this axis, you will get same appearance three times in one rotation. All right. This is four-fold symmetry. That means with this axis, when you rotate the crystal, you will get same appearance four times in one complete rotation. So these are the three axes of symmetry. Next slide. Now, axis of symmetry, there are three types: two-fold symmetry, three-fold symmetry and four-fold symmetry. Now, cubic system has got altogether 13 axes of symmetry. Okay. So, a cubic system has got 13 axes of symmetry. Which are those? Two-fold symmetry, three-fold symmetry and four-fold symmetry. Two-fold symmetry 6, three-fold symmetry 4 and four-fold symmetry 3. Okay. Next slide. Center of symmetry. Now what is center of symmetry? Center of symmetry of a crystal is such a point that any line drawn through it intersects the surface of the crystal at equal distance in both directions. That means it is in the middle of the crystal. If you draw a point, mark a point and you draw a plane, okay, a line, it will intersect the other side, opposite side at equal distance. So that is called what? Center of symmetry. All right. Next slide. So elements of symmetry, you know that there are three types of elements of symmetry: plane of symmetry, axis of symmetry and then center of symmetry. Now plane of symmetry, there are two types: diagonal plane, rectangular plane. Okay. Axis of symmetry, there are three types: two-fold, three-fold and four-fold, right? And center of symmetry, this is center of symmetry. Next slide. Now what are lattice planes? Lattice planes are nothing but the points in a space lattice. They are considered to lie in a set of parallel equidistant plane called lattice planes. So you mark the points, lattice points, and then draw the plane either vertical or diagonal like this. So but you should have parallel planes. If you draw this diagonal line, then you should have same parallel plane. If you draw the vertical line, same parallel plane. That is called what? Lattice planes. Now lattice planes in a cubic crystal. There are three types of lattice planes in a cubic crystal. So you have cube here, it will intersect the plane, this plane will intersect along the x axis. Such crystals are represented as 1 0 0. That means along the x axis unit distance there is plane, okay, whereas y axis there is no plane and z axis there is only. The intersection will be only along the x axis. So the intersected plane is represented by here parallel lines, okay. Now second figure indicates intersection is along the x axis and then y axis 1 1 0. So along x axis unit intersection, along y axis unit intersection. So, that is abbreviated as 1 1 0. Alright. Now, third plane is 1 1 1, that means it will intersect the x axis at unit distance, y axis at unit distance as well as z axis unit distance. So, it is of somewhat like triangular shape like this. So, this is another plane. So, it is represented mathematically or symbolically as 1 1 1, that means intersection, unit intersection at along the x axis, unit intersection on the y axis and then z axis. Alright. Next line, law of rationality of indices. Now, what is the law of rationality of indices? The intercept of any face of the crystal along the crystallographic axis are equal to unit intercepts a, b, c, or simple whole number multiples of them. You can have intercepts along the three axes like a, b, c, or simple whole number multiples. The intercepts a, b, c are called Weiss indices. Now, what are these called? Intercepts a, b, c, they are called Weiss indices. Okay. Next line. Now, the representation of Weiss indices, you can see the small triangle here, intersection along the x, y and z axis, similar intersection, but a bigger triangle, equal distance along the x axis, y axis, z axis. So, this is another way of representing Weiss indices. Next line, Miller indices. Now, what are Miller indices? Miller indices are a set of integers represented as h, k, l, which are used to describe a given plane in a crystal. So, we can describe a given plane in a crystal by using integers h, k, l. These are called what? Miller indices. The Miller indices of a plane of a crystal are inversely proportional to the intercept of that plane on the three axes. They are proportional, inversely proportional to the intercepts of that plane on the three axes. Now, Miller indices for the different planes 1 0 0 plane, 1 1 0 plane and 1 1 plane, you can represent like this 1 0 0 plane. And what are Miller indices? They are reciprocal, inversely proportional. Therefore, 1 by 1 that is equal to 1, 1 by infinity that is equal to 0, 1 by infinity that is equal to 0. Alright. Then 1 1 0, 1 by 1 equal to 1, 1 by 1 equal to 1, 1 by infinity equal to 0. That is how you got 1 1 0. Okay. Then 1 1 1 divided by 1 also same, therefore, this is the plane 1 1 1. Next slide. Now, meaning of representation of DHKL. Now, what is the meaning of DHKL? Let the Miller indices for a set of parallel planes HKL. So, you are indicating the set of parallel planes with the Miller indices HKL. Okay. The perpendicular distance between the sets of parallel planes having Miller HKL is represented DH. In the parallel perpendicular distance to this plane with this indices HKL, that is represented DHKL, that is the perpendicular distance. So, DHKL is equal to A by h squared k squared plus L squared. What is A then? It is the length of the side of the cube. If A is the length of the side of the cube, okay, the perpendicular distance DHKL is given by this formula. DHKL is equal to A by h squared plus k squared plus L squared. Okay. Next line. Now, lattice planes in a cube and the perpendicular distance between them. So, for a simple cube, there are three planes 1 0 0, 1 1 0 and 1 1 1. And what is the perpendicular distance between the set of planes? 1 0 0 plane, the perpendicular distance is represented A, that is nothing but the side of the cube. 1 1 0 A by square root of 2 and 1 1 1 A by square root of 3. Therefore, when you take the ratio D110, that is the perpendicular distance, D100 is to D110 and D11 is equal to A is to A by square root of 2 is to A by square root of 3, that is equal to 1 is to A is common, okay, in all the three A is common, therefore, it is equal to nearly equal to 1 is to 1 by square root of 2 is to 1 by square root of 3. For a body centered cube, the perpendicular distance is given by 1 is to 2 by square root of 2 is to 1 by square root of 3. And for a face centered cube, the perpendicular distance, ratio of the perpendicular distance is given by 1 is to 1 by square root of 2 is to 2 by square root of 3. Alright, next slide. Now, the X-ray diffraction at a crystal surface. So, we are going to study how the X-ray diffraction takes place on the crystal surface. You have to consider three planes, plane 1, plane 2 and plane 3. What about the nature of the planes? They are parallel to each other. You can see here clearly these plane 1, plane 2 and plane 3 are parallel. Okay. And AB is the incident light. You can see here AB is the incident line, strikes the surface, that is plane 1, gets reflected BC. Similarly, DE is the incident light on the plane 2, gets reflected EF. Then consider the perpendicular from the point B to the incident light DE. So, BG is the perpendicular to this plane, okay, that means to this incident line. BH is the perpendicular to this reflected light, that is EF. And this angle AB, this angle is theta. Similarly, the angle, the incident light, reflected light angle is theta. Similarly, angle GBE is theta, angle HB is theta. Okay. And what about the distance in between the planes? D. Let D be this distance in between the two parallel planes. Okay. Next slide. Now, how to derive Bragg's equation? Derivation of Bragg's equation. What is Bragg's equation? N lambda is equal to 2d sin theta. So, this is the Bragg equation. You have got to derive now. N lambda is equal to 2d sin theta. Okay. Now, for reinforcement, path difference is given by n lambda. That is the definition. For reinforcement, the path difference should be equal to n into lambda, where n is a whole number. What is n? N is a whole number 1, 2, 3. The path difference between the two waves is given by G plus EH. You can see in the previous slide, you might have seen in the previous slide, the path difference between the two waves is G plus EH. From geometry consideration, it follows that angle GBE is equal to triangle HB is equal to theta. So, angle GBE HB is equal to theta. And G and EH is equal to B sin. If you take the sin theta, you will get BG equal to EH equal to B sin theta. Okay. Now, how to derive? Interplanar distance PE is equal to, what is the interplanar distance? D, right? So, you know that parallel planes are they are lying with the distance D, small d. So, D is equal to G is equal to EH is equal to D sin theta. Let this be equation 3. So, path difference is given by 2d sin theta, okay, because you have to add this too. So, 2d sin theta, d sin theta plus d sin theta, that is 2d sin theta. Then from equation 3 and 1, so equate the two equations, that is 3 is equal to 3 and 1, n lambda is equal to 2d sin theta. What is path difference? N lambda. Path difference is given by 2d sin theta by this formula, okay, by this equation. Therefore, n lambda is equal to 2d sin theta. Okay. So, this equation is known as Bragg's equation. Next slide. Determination of crystal structure of rock salt by Bragg's method. So, rock salt is nothing but sodium chloride. How do you determine crystal structure of rock salt by Bragg's method? Now, Bragg's formula or Bragg equation, you know, n lambda is equal to d sin theta. Okay. Substitute n equal to 1, you will get d is equal to n lambda divided by sin theta. That n equal to 1 means lambda is 2d sin theta, or d is equal to n lambda divided by 2 sin theta. For first order reflection, when the 100, 110 and 111 planes are exposed are theta 1, theta 2 and theta 3. You consider the angles for 100 plane as theta 1, 11 plane 0 plane as theta 2 and 11 plane as theta 3. Now, the ratio of the interplanar distance or perpendicular distance, that is given by D100 is equal to that means equal is to D110 is to D111. Okay, that is equal to 1 by sin theta 1 is to 1 by sin theta 2 is to 1 by sin theta 3. So, this is the instrument by which you are measuring on the crystal structure of rock salt. You can see the beam of light passing through the slits. It is allowed to fall on the crystal. This is the crystal. This is a rotating table. Okay, rotating table T, and on the center of the table you can notice here, you can see here the crystal of sodium chloride has been kept. Okay, the incident light falls on the crystal. Okay, so this is the incident light. Then this is the reflected light. Light transmits through the crystal and then gets reflected through this. Okay, so this is the ionization chamber. So this is the simple diagrams of Bragg's method. Now Bragg's method, description of the apparatus. When 100 plane is exposed, the value of theta 1, theta 2, theta 3 is found to be 5.9 degree, 8.4 degree and 5.2 degree respectively. When you are exposing 3 different planes, the angles will be, theta will be, that means theta 1, theta 2, theta 3 will be 5.9, 8.4 and 5.2. Okay. Now take the ratio D100 is to D110 is to D11, that is lambda by 2 sin 5.9 degrees to lambda by 2 sin 8.4 degrees to lambda by 2 sin 5.2 degree. Correct? Now 2 is common, therefore cancel, all this 2 is common, cancel, therefore this formula is simplified to lambda by sin 5.9 okay, is to lambda by sin 8.4 is to lambda by sin 5.2 degree. When you substitute the value of this, you will get as 1 is to, you take this as common term, okay, 1 is to 1 by square root of 2 is to 2 by square root of this. So by on simplification you will get 1 is to 1 by square root 2 is to 2 by square root 3. Okay, this is the crystal structure of sodium chloride. You can see here crystal structure of sodium chloride. This is the crystal structure, okay, of sodium chloride. You can see the black dots indicate sodium and the hollow dots indicate what? Circles indicates chloride ion. The black points indicate sodium ion. Okay, this is the crystal structure of sodium chloride. So with this I stop at this stage. So please go through all these slides. Any difficulty, please contact me. Okay, thank you.